Welcome, everybody, to Taste Different Gaming News. What's in the news today? Getting railroaded by strangers for graphics cards. All right, before we jump into it, make sure you hit like, share, subscribe, hit those notifications and all those good things. And definitely give us your comments, thoughts, and responses to this video and all the others we got. So let's jump into it. Nvidia RTX 5090s and the 5080s sell out instantly, and scalpers are already cashing in with a $6,000 eBay listings. So if you're looking to get your hands on Nvidia's RTX 5090s, 5080s, well, you're boned. Unless you got a big fat checkbook and you don't really care, because you're already too late. Both the RTX 50 series Blackwell GPUs went up for sale and then were gone in a flash. This wasn't entirely unexpected, as Nvidia had released a warning that stock for new generation of graphic cards would be low, with manufacturer MSI even delaying the launch of the RTX 5090 until February 6th. Lines had grown long at U.S. distributor Micro Center, where hopeful buyers camped out for a chance at snagging one. With stock levels low, scalpers had overtaken eBay listings for the product with sold listings. Now, this says sold listings of the 5090 reaching over $6,000, a 200% increase over the $2,000 MSRP on the 5090. Third-party manufacturers are also marking up their MSRP prices of the RTX 5090, with Asus ROG Astral reaching $27.99, a 40% increase in asking price. They should be shut down, in my opinion. This isn't uncommon for higher-end cards, but the $800 increase is a whole PS5 Pro. Not that anybody would buy it. Worldwide, NVIDIA's MSRP Founders Edition cards, which feature an advanced split PCB, these guys will explain what that is, I hope, because I ain't got a clue, have been in demand, with different regions restocking at different times. But while demand remains high and stock levels remain low, then they're nearly impossible to purchase, even for the most diehard of fans. One user commented on the NVIDIA forum, "I refreshed every second since 2 p.m. and not once did it become available to buy." Other users over on Reddit are also posting memes titled "Another Launch, Another Failure." After failing to buy one of the new graphics cards, paper launch is true, claimed one Redditor, echoing the sentiment around the RTX 30 series launch, which was also short supply in 2020. But while there are a few RTX 5090s and 5080 graphic cards in circulation, in October, it was reported that the design of NVIDIA's Blackwell-based processors were flawed. CEO Jensen Huang said, "We have a design flaw in Blackwell. It was functional, but the design flaw caused the yield to be low. Fixing this flaw in its data center chips may have affected production of the RTX 5090 and 5080. All right. So, short story long, scumbags bought them all up. Scumbags are trying to oversell them, overprice them, and I think scumbags are the only ones that would pay a 200% markup. If you don't like my opinion, I apologize, but I don't give a crap. So let's jump to these guys. These two are on the tech end of things. I just know scumbags. These guys know tech. It's the way our relationships work. Scum, tech. So let's jump into Pat. Pat, what do you think about these RTX scalpers, and should they be flogged publicly or, in the privacy of a dungeon? I mean, what do you think?
I don't think any flogging is necessary. Just don't buy their shit. So they're stuck with tens of thousands, if not hundreds of $1,000s worth of inventory. And then they can't put food in the mouth of their family because they're greedy douchebags.
A little flog. Just a little flogging.
No. When their wife leaves them and takes the baby because they're dumbasses, then, it's what they deserve, They become homeless out on the street. You can't eat that 5080 and 5090, So,
but I can shove it somewhere.
Yeah, that's what that's going to be useful for. They're going to be marital aids. Let's just put it that way. Don't buy. Who the hell is going to pay $6,000 for something that costs $19.99? MSRP, right? And that's MSRP. So, you know, I don't know. Don't be an ass. Don't buy shit from scalpers, especially on a markup like that. Make them get stuck with that entire inventory. That's what I say. You know, our government won't do anything about it. They won't figure out and retailers don't give a shit because as long as they stock out, they don't care, right? And you know, obviously we have Nvidia to blame for this stock shortage because they're the ones that had an issue, right? You mentioned it in the article back in October. So they've only had a few months to actually, after they fixed the issue, the Blackwell, right? The Blackwell chip design, they only had a couple of months. So they've only been manufacturing these or repairing. I don't know what they did with the ones that were coming out screwed up, right? I haven't read that much into it. I just remember them making the announcement back in October stating that they had a problem and then it was corrected, I think, by the end of the month. But so that means that they basically have been making chips since November, December, and January. So they have 3 months to try to catch up on whatever they were doing, you know, however much progress they had before then, right? So there's a demand because of a misproduction issue, a production issue, right? And now, you know, a bunch of scalpers decided, hey, what's better than buying consoles for $750 and selling them for $3,000 or, you know, $6,000? Let's buy a $2,000 video card and sell it for $6,000, or, you know, or a $1,000 video card and selling it for $3,000 or $4,000. You know, I mean, it's the stupidest thing ever, and you know, don't feed the dumbasses, you know, let them just choke on that stock until they have to sell it at a loss. That's what I say. You know, make them sell it at a loss. And then when this stuff starts showing up on eBay for like $1,800 because they spent $2,000 on buying it and they can't get rid of it because they can't feed their family because they deserve it, you know, and their family leaves them because they're fuckwads, you know, then let them have at it is what I say. But you know, it doesn't make sense. You try to sell that for $6,000, but come summertime, Nvidia is going to have made up the losses. You know, there's going to be more chips out there to buy. It's not like they're stopping production or there's a production issue. The production issue has been solved. So you may have to wait a little bit longer, but so what? You know, if you go out there.
Quick question: Which scalping group of a-holes was it that they were complaining about people not buying their product? Was it the PlayStation?
That was the PlayStation 5 when it had come out, and then PlayStation stock was catching up, and then they were like, "Oh, I can't get rid of this stuff." You know, I sold, and then they were like, "But it's business. It's not business to be a scalper. It's a douchebag to be a scalper, right? It's not business. Scalping is not a business. You're not an entrepreneur. You're a fuckwad, you know?
Hey, I'm not a drug dealer. I'm a businessman.
Right, exactly.
I'm not a pimp. I'm a businessman.
That's what the coke and the heroin dealers tell you.
I'm not an insurance carrier. I'm a businessman. Scumbag.
Anytime somebody has to tell you that they're an entrepreneur or a businessman, you know, you should probably steer clear of that snake oil and that dumbass because they're obviously not an entrepreneur and not a business person because they have to make that distinguishment to you. Hey, I'm just a businessman. No, you're not. You're a dumbass.
Yeah.
You know?
I forgot entrepreneur was French for piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's French.
Pardon my language.
It's French for I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get over on somebody, you know, because you didn't do anything. You just bought something that was in demand and then think you're going to sell it for $6,000. I got news for you. This isn't a PS5. This isn't an Xbox. We're not in the COVID pandemic, and Nvidia just had a temporary hiccup, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, and they fixed it within like a month. So it's not like, you know, I don't know what happened or how long they were in previous production stock or if they had to trash the entire previous production stock. I don't know. I have not read too much into that, but they're in full production now. So, you know, there'll be some released in February and there'll be some released in March, April. And then eventually you're going to be stuck with that $2,000 video card that you bought that you just can't get rid of. Especially now that, you know, a lot of things, you know, it's not as if these are the same cards, but just think of the whole AI model stuff that's kind of crashing. The AI market's crashing a little bit because of the whole Chinese AI. What is it? I can't remember what they're DeepSeek.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and they're able to, supposedly their AI models are able to do just as much as like the big dogs out there are with less compute power. But, I read articles recently that, it's only like 19% accuracy and stuff. So it's doing pretty shitty. But time will tell, right? So especially, like when you think about like some of the bigger names out there in AI, it's Google's making their own TensorFlow processors and stuff to run their AI models, so they're making their own shit these days. So I just I know we say it every time, but don't buy from these people. Like, who the hell is out there paying $6,000 for something that's $1,999 MSRP, right? I I don't know. I just want to go. I want to go over there and just pull a what was the game? Who's the Gat out of hell? Who makes that? What is that, a game series? That's the
Saints Row.
Saints Row. Yep. I want to go over to Saints Row and beat him with the giant rubber dildo baseball bat and be like, "What's your problem?" So, because it's stupid. It's just stupid. I don't get this. I don't get it. I mean, FOMO's a thing, but at the same time, where's your brain at when you're paying $6,000 for something that if you just wait a few months, you'll get it for $2,000, because I remember when we had the video crisis back in what was it? It was around the pandemic, but it was mostly related to the old crypto mining thing that was going on. Crypto mining has reached its peak, and then the Chinese government came in and kind of shut it down like months after that. And then the entire GPU market crashed, right? And then we just had this whole AI thing, which kind of set the GPU market back in its, back as well. And so now these people, I don't know, these scalpers must not think through the process or understand. It's just somebody with more money than brains or credit card, right? Because they're probably just putting this crap on credit cards and then, buy 10 of them, which should be a problem anyway. These stinking distributors shouldn't allow individuals to buy more than one. That's how you solve the problem, right? You do somewhat what Sony failed a little bit to do, which is you need a PlayStation, you need an account to buy this, and it's one per account, right? And if you decide to sell your one opportunity, then that's your problem, right? But I don't know, $6,000 just seems stupid for a video card. That really a lot of the features and functions aren't going to be fully utilized for at least another 6 months to a year, right? I mean, because you still developers need to develop, roll out patches, updates to take advantage of these things. Obviously you're going to get some improvements because it's a newer card, eats up a lot more wattage than the old ones do, and things like that. So of course it can pump out higher frame rates and things like that. But I don't know. I've never been one. I've never owned a 90 series of any video card because I'm not spending thousands of dollars on a video card. But I've owned an 80 series, and I mostly stick to the 70 series these days just because it's my sweet spot for price versus performance. I got a 4070 Ti Super, 4070 Super Ti. So, so I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars on a video card. But some people will, I guess. I mean, some of these scalpers will make money. But just don't feed the trolls. Stop buying the freaking cards, stop buying stop buying stuff that scalpers are selling. And if you are in the government, you need to get off your damn hands. Stop sitting with your thumb up your ass and do something about this, because it's stupid. Like, you got people out there preying on other people because you can't be bothered to stop shit like this. Like, I don't know. It just seems stupid to me. Like, other countries have enacted things to prevent scalping. Like, we've tried and failed to prevent scalping of concert tickets even, The tennis shoe market is rife with scalpers who go in and just buy up all these shoes when they come out, and then people can't get them. And retailers don't care. Retailers and the manufacturers don't give a shit because they're just like, hey, I sold out. That's all I care about, But as an individual, you can't get something because all these people bought it up so they can resell it to make a profit, So we need to have some type of MSRP laws or something, like scalping laws, like what they try to do on concert tickets, right? You can't sell it for like, what is it, 10 or 20% more than face value of the ticket or something.
Something like that, yeah.
But I don't think you should be allowed to sell it above MSRP. I mean, that's what I say. But that we won't do that because we're a capitalist country and we can't get in the way of free markets. That's not a free market. That's a predatory market, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Nick, what do you think, man? Are you bummed that you're not getting that 5090 and need to upgrade your power supply so you can run it?
Well, I'm bummed that I have to upgrade my power supply. I think that, yeah, I mean, for the scalpers out there, I mean, it always happens. And for anybody out there, it's just wait. That's the biggest thing. You don't need a 4090 or 4080, I'm sorry, 50. Keep saying 40s, 5080, 5090. You don't need one of those right when they come out, be on the bleeding edge of it. Like Pat said, I mean, there are I think about 75 games that did update here recently to take DLSS 4 and multi-frame generation. So they are using some of the features of the Blackwell processors, but the other stuff that the 50 series cards can do, these games aren't going to take advantage of that, right? So you're better off to wait and don't give in to these scalpers and buy their stuff. Wait for them to wait for the stock to come in, wait for everything to come in stock. And then once it comes in stock, then you can go ahead and go out there and buy it because they'll be everywhere. You'll be able to go out and purchase a 5080 or 5090 anywhere. Just like the PlayStations or the Xboxes when those came out too. I'm sure with the Switch 2, when that comes out, that's going to be the same exact thing. So, it's going to be hard to get one and all the scalpers are going to buy those and sell those online. Just like Pat said, let them hold on to that inventory and not be able to sell it and just wait, right? I mean, if you really need a new graphics card and you can't wait, then get a 40 series. 40 series cards are still great cards, or 30 series cards. Even the 30 series cards are still great cards. There's a lot of people, still rocking 30 series cards. So, and still getting good performance out of them. So, you don't need to get one of those until later on. I know the FOMO and wanting to get that. I understand. I mean, if I had the money, I would want one too, but I have to buy a new PSU as well. So mine, I don't have 1,000 watt to put it in. So I'd have to buy one of those and then I'd have to buy a graphics card as well, or the graphics card on top of that. So yeah, I'll just wait. I got a 4080 in mine. Mine will be good for a while. Maybe I'll buy a new one when the 60 series comes out or something. But when they go on, super, I mean, because they will be cheaper eventually. And like Pat said, I usually stick around the same thing, like the 70s or 80s series. Usually because the 90 series always seem to have a lot of problems. And most of the time there's not a big difference, especially there's not a huge difference between 80s and 90s series cards. Or even the 70s cards. Like when you get in the 60s and below, then performance is really kind of down. But anything like 70 and up is usually pretty good as far as performance and everything like that goes. So yeah, don't give in to the scalpers. Don't pay $6,000 for these cards. They're not worth the price, clearly, because that's not what they're marketed at. And it's not worth your money and if you have enough money to just blow $6,000 on a graphics card, then maybe your priorities need to change. I don't know, but also the split PCB is just the circuit board that's basically it's split in half, right? So you
stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, so they could be placed in different area of the graphics cards for better heat disbursement or various things like that.
Yeah, you don't want it to be super long because they already don't fit in most cases. So.
Right.
If we didn't split that PCB into 3, it'd be like
Yeah, I mean, huge.
I need a case just for my graphics card, right?
Just for the I mean, the graphics card, the 40 series is like gigantic.
There'll be the front and back of your case will have an extra little 6 inches on the front and the back. Yeah, you got a little front 6 inches on the front and the back, so the video card fits in there.
Like bumpers on your unit.
It just has little slides that you just take off, so there's no so that way when you put the card in there, it just sticks out of the front and back of it. You know, just pull these little slides out, and then you're like, all right, and stick because I have a 4080 in mine, and it pretty much takes up the entire space that card sits at. You know,
yeah, my 4070 Ti Super, I had to take the drive bay out of mine because I got SSD, NVMe's and stuff like that in there, so I don't need it. But the drive bays, it was like too big, so I had to take out the drive bays.
Yeah, it's crazy. Those things are huge. They're gigantic.
Yeah. It's getting insane, so it doesn't sag.
It does. It needs a kickstand so it doesn't sag. Mine definitely needed one, and I think Pat bought one as well.
I bought the one you sent. You told me to get. Yeah.
So
pretty soon you're just going to need a spare room to put the graphics card.
It's going to need its own case eventually.
Yeah, it'll have its own SCSI type connectors or something that links it back to the PC. It's got its own Next, you got to buy 2 PC cases, full towers. One's just to house the video card, and then the other one houses all the rest of the components.
It's literally going to be a tower.
Yeah.
You have to water cool it and everything like that.
It'll have its own story. The 2 towers.
Yeah.
God.
Oh man. He's talking about Lord of the Rings, by the way.
Yes,
I know.
The 2 towers.
My first thought didn't go there though. So
I was thinking Lord of the Rings.
Anyways,
the 2 towers.
I think the moral of the story is if you got $6,000, do something better with it. I mean, if you're that rich,
take your family on vacation.
You're hurting. When you buy something like that, you're hurting other people that don't have that money. Because you're feeding into it, and that's just going to cause them to do it more.
You're hurting us.
Yes, I mean,
you don't want to hurt us.
Look at Nick. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I want to hurt you, but
give those puppy dog eyes.
But you're hurting people that have been waiting for these things, and they can't pick them up because these people are buying them up to scalp them out for massive profits, and it's just not right, and it's just immoral. And if you're doing it, you're scum. Please stop. I will go to your house and apologize if you do. And if you're buying them, just think about it. I mean, just think about the consequences of, doing things like this, what the rollback on that causes. So, I hate getting mad about this because I understand wanting to make some money. Hell, we all want to make some money, but when you do it and you're hurting people and screwing people over, that's not making money. That's just being a piece of a bad person.
People make money every day without screwing over somebody else,
Yep.
But
you ever watch Shark Tank and the guy was like, no, I don't want to charge more than that because these people are farmers. These people are housewives. Be that guy. So, but anyway,
be like that guy on Shark Tank.
Be like that guy on Shark Tank.
Yeah, you know the guy.
Yeah,
Pat knows the guy.
Nick
knows the guy.
Yeah, the farmer guy.
Don't
Nick don't know the guy.
I think I saw the video on YouTube or something.
Yeah, don't be that guy. You don't gotta make it. You don't gotta screw over people to get by. And that's the whole thing, But
when it makes it easier.
Yeah, I guess it makes it easier. It also makes you a piece of human garbage, but
Yeah. Yep. Makes you
not
a rook to
not an
lord on
entrepreneur
society.
or a businessman, but a human piece of garbage when you intentionally buy up tens of hundreds of stock just to resell for an exorbitant price.
And Pat's being polite. When he says garbage, he means feces, but slang word.
A human piece of shit,
There we go.
Not even, right. You got to flush them.
Yes, you do. All right. So, moral of the story is don't scalp, don't buy scalped, don't be a piece of shit. All right. You guys got anything else to add to that? I think we pretty well covered it. All right. Again, you made it to the end. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit the notification buttons, subscription button, all the happy little buttons. Make sure you tell your friends, to your family. You watch 3 Really cool guy, especially one with his awesome Dan to Dan shirt he got for Christmas. Until next time, see ya.